Greetings, thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Saturday, April 16, 2022. For today's editorial, sugar importation is a necessary evil. It is no surprise that the most recent proposal to import sugar has caused a storm of protest from the local sugar farmers and processing industry because every such plan provokes such resistance. With all due respect to the domestic producers, who do raise some valid points that must be addressed, the current importation plan is necessary to address more immediate concerns affecting most of the country. The Sugar Regulatory Administration, or SRA, an agency under the Department of Agriculture, plans to import 350,000 metric tons of sugar to bolster the country's supplies, which it says are at critical levels due to low domestic production. According to the SRA, the estimated raw sugar production for the crop year 2021 to 2022, which is nearly over, is 1.983 million metric tons, which is 160 tons or about 7.5% lower than the 2020 to 2021 crop year, including a carryover supply of 228,690 metric tons. The total raw sugar supply is about 2.211 million tons against a projected demand of 2.2 million tons, the SRA said. Thus, there is virtually no surplus available, which means that will be a deficit if demand increases at all, which the SRA seems to feel is likely given the easing of pandemic restrictions and increase in economic activity. Even if an actual shortage does not occur, sugar prices are already elevated due to the short supply. Furthermore, supplies are expected to become lean over the next few months, particularly between June and August, due to the seasonal shutdown of sugar refineries as they run out of stock to process. 5 out of 12 sugar refineries across the country have already stopped, the SRA said, with the rest scheduled to shut down between now and the second week of June. Sugar is a key driver of food inflation because it is a basic component of much of the food we consume. Maintaining an adequate supply, including a buffer stock that ensures demand can be met across seasonal lean periods, is critical to keeping food prices under control. Ideally, that adequate supply would be provided by only domestic producers, and in years past, it has been. But the sugar industry cannot expect to be allowed to hold the entire economy hostage to its own interests. If domestic producers cannot meet demand, then managed importation is the necessary solution. If importation is successfully blocked and sugar supplies fall below what is needed, then smuggling will be used to make up the differences. That must be avoided at all costs, because history has shown that to affect sugar producers worse in terms of their income than importation, along with smuggling's other negative consequences. By the same token, the sugar producers are quite right to demand greater support from the government, because helping them to improve their productivity and obviating the need for imports is ultimately the best solution. The most common complaints of sugar producers, particularly small farmers, are lack of resources for needed inputs such as fertilizer, which has increased in cost significantly along with the rise in oil prices and the lack of monitoring of price gouging middlemen. Responsible policy, we believe, addresses all concerns as completely as possible. Importation is necessary as a short-term solution to bigger supply and price problems, but at the same time, the root causes of those problems must be addressed in the interest of food security. What specific steps should be taken should be left to the experts in the sugar industry and the Department of Agriculture. but should focus on increasing overall yield. Most importantly, the two sides need to cooperate with each other. One of the most bitter complaints aired by the sugar sector in recent days is that the SRA has ignored their concerns, a charge the SRA has described as politicizing the issue of importation. That kind of antagonism from either side does nothing to address actual issues, but because the availability or lack thereof of any basic commodity is not determined by public opinion. And that's the editorial for Saturday, April 16, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the voice of the Times.